they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Thursday, March 14th, 2024, and this is episode 654 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled Wife Knows Best, and I'll be chatting about a little plumbing project we had, a new great discovery of a multi-tool, and some news headlines, and so much more. So let's check in with the coffee crew, see who's hanging out in the live chat, and grab a cup and hang out for about an hour. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And let's swing over into the comments. I see Pip over there early this morning asking about pie. Yes, happy Pie Day, everyone. Happy Pie Day. 3/14 is Pie Day. And we will talk a little pie today. We will. And Rewilder Life, good morning. Coffee's taking way too long. And Hunter swinging in with hanging out over on Twitch, and he's saying pizza is on sale. Who has the big pizza sale on Pie Day where you are? I don't know if there'll be a sale on pizza today, but definitely for Pie Day we will be getting Charlie's Pizza if he's here in town, because it is Thursday, and when Pie Day lines up on Thursday, that's Pizza Day in my town. So hopefully we get pizza on Pie Day. Blaze Pizza, I think that's a chain, right? Is that like a chain high-end artisan pizza? I want to say when we were traveling one time, when we were looking for pizza, they had a Blaze Pizza there, and we ended up skipping it and going to a bar. The place was a bar. I talked about it on the show. It was a bar that had teamed up with a pizzeria, and I don't think either one was necessarily affiliated with the other, except that they were in the same building. And the pizza was phenomenal, but the husband, oh, here we go. It ties right in with Wife Knows Best. The husband of the couple that owned the hip camp we were staying at suggested that we go to Blaze. And I was like, okay, I'm just craving pizza no matter what. And when we went, I started going over there, and the wife actually texted me, and she's like, hey, don't go there. Go to this place. And so I did. And it was the right call. It was fantastic. So have yet to try Blaze. Rewilder Life's going to make her own pie. Yeah, she has some tough time with some food ingredients that may just kill her, and we like having her around here. So I prefer you make your own pie today, Rachel. Thank you. Okay, two things on pie. Did you guys know that pie backwards? You must have seen the meme, and meme kind of ruined the geek in Pie Day, but that pi 3.14 backwards, if you flip it in the mirror, it closely resembles the word pie. You can picture it. I didn't download the graphic because I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it and everybody understands what I'm talking about. But happy Pie Day forward and backwards. All I had on my notes for Pie Day was that, and that we will hopefully be getting pie from old Charlie here if he's in town, if he continues to come to town on every Thursday. So let's move on. What is in the cup today? We have the last of a pound of GSD blend. It's great. It's been great all week. I've always enjoyed it since I came up with the blend or came up with the idea, I guess. And then my coffee roaster shot me out the blend, and there it was. A new label was created. I see that Brian over at Food Forest Farms was posting on Facebook yesterday that he has some new labels in the works, new white label coming out for one of his C4 clients. That is one of the perks of being a C4 client, is You can come up with your own coffee brand. You can come up with your own coffee blends. You can use him. You can have your own ideas. He can help you, walk you through it. You create a label or have him create a label, and wham, bam, there you go. You're up and running with your own coffee company. And the pricing, the pricing is good enough that there's room for everyone to get their cut. So if you've always been thinking about having your own coffee label, your own coffee brand, definitely check out the C4 Club from Food Forest Farms. It's where I get all this awesome coffee every month, and I couldn't ask for anything more. So foodforestfarms.com is your place. You're going to track it down, and yeah, tell them Brian sent you. If you want to order the coffee, check it out. Use LOTS10, LOTS 10 for 10% off, one-time coupon. Let me top off here, and we will continue. Guys, allergies here in Tennessee are blowing up. I look around at the trees, and I look at the blossoms on the trees. I look at the flowers on the trees. I look at the flowers and the plants popping out of the ground. And then I don't question anymore why my head is in a fog and my sinuses are full. And every morning when I wake up, I'm just like, I don't take drugs. I don't take any sort of allergy drugs. The other day I did take a Zyrtec for the first time, and man, I don't even think I took one in the pine pollen of Texas last year, which, man, if you've never been to East Texas during the pine pollen and the wind blows and you can see it blow off the trees and it looks like smoke blowing across the field, it's definitely an experience. But hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. All right. Yeah, the trees here are just, everything is just blowing up. Um Pickle B says 1 Zyrtec a day. It's the only drugs I take. F allergies. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And we'll see how long it goes. I I suffer through it a lot. I don't like taking the meds because I can never tell which ones are going to put me to sleep, which ones are going to keep me up, and I don't like to do the trial and error thing where I take something before bed and it keeps me up all night, and then the next day I'm miserable and I'm like, screw that. Or I take it and it knocks me out and I'm foggy in the morning. I've never been a fan of it, whether it be Sudafed or Benadryl or Zyrtec or Allegra, all of them. There's all of them, and never been a fan of any of them, and it is what it is. Blue Weiler Life says Zyrtec makes her so tired. Yeah, and they kind of bounce back and forth for me too. I tried to get a handle on it at one point, and I was kind of testing them out, and it felt like it really was dependent on other factors, whether it keeps me up or not. Hunter says I take purple. Wilder Life says allergies suck. They rule our lives. I don't know, Rachel. I don't think you ever have any issues with allergies, do you? Like maybe killing you or anything like that. Jeez. Yeah, allergies kind of rule a lot of things in our lives, and especially people that have severe allergies like you. Pickle Pete says Seldane used to make him hallucinate. For fun? Let's get into it here. Let me see. Oh, one other note I wanted to grab before we get rolling too far and I forget to hit it. If you are interested in Albi, the Albi extension, I was talking about it the other day with Noster. It's a great Lightning wallet extension for Brave, for Chromium, any Chromium-based browser. It sits right up there it can sit right up there in your extension tray. and it has a fully functioning Lightning wallet in it. It is also it's enabled to be a Nostr sign in. So basically, you can store your keys in the extension, and any Nostr enabled website that has a Nostr login, it will log in. It will ask you. Well, you can set it up either way. You can set it to auto login. You can set it to ask you every time it wants to use your private keys to sign into a site. But this is the beauty of Nostr being a protocol, is if you have this extension and you have your private key and your public key stored in it, when you go to any site that has the same protocol used for writing the site and the interaction in the site, your credentials come with you. So if you set up your profile on say you set up your profile, you're using Amethyst on your phone, and you get your cool headline picture, header picture, banner picture, whatever it's called, your profile picture. You got a bunch of posts, you have interesting stuff going on, and then you go over to Stacker News that I talked about yesterday or the day before, where you can earn satoshis for posting threads, posting articles, posting thoughts, photos now, and things like that. I just hit log in on Stacker News, and it gave me the login with Nostr, and I hit that, and it says use extension, boom, and it pulled from my Albi extension, and it basically brings your user profile with you. I think Jack Spirko was coining a term when he was pushing Nostr pretty hard. It was like one set of keys gets you all of these or something. I can't remember what he said, but basically you set up your set of keys, and that is basically your credentials of just a wide swathing variety of sites. So Albi works really well as a browser extension. They did end up going to invite only as the whole crackdown on Lightning and around the time Wallet of Satoshi dropped. I don't know if it was directly related to that or something else. Maybe their volume of customers got too high. I don't know why they went to invite only, but they did, and they were kind enough to reach out to me when they saw that I was doing some onboarding stuff, and I have 5 right now. I have 5 invite codes for Albi. If you are interested in one, please email me at info@thelotsproject.com. That's info@thelotsproject.com, and put in the subject line Albi invite, and I will, if I have any left, first five to email me and that want to sign up will definitely get an invite code. And who knows, I might have more after that, but right now I only have the 5. So we will see. Rewilder Life's coffee is ready right after the whole stuff that she probably needed her brain power rolling for to even start to think about it. Yeah. So if you want Albi, if you want to have an invite code, just let me know. Email is the best way. And like I said, limited availability, 5 to be exact. Let's roll on here. We'll get into that title of Wife Knows Best and what we got going yesterday. Had a big project that has been needing to be done for a while. I think it's been an issue. It has been an issue for a long time. But we finally pinpointed the problem. I think it was this weekend, maybe earlier this week. What was that, Car? Saturday. That's what I was thinking. Saturday, we started digging into it. There was a slight leak underneath the sink that was probably becoming a bigger leak. And I don't know if you've ever worked on the plumbing in an RV, but basically, if you took all the plumbing for your sink and put it in a 5-gallon bucket and tried to work on it while it was assembled, that's kind of like what it's like working on the plumbing in this thing. So it wasn't something that I was looking forward to very much. And so we cleaned it out under there, and it looked like it was just like a slow drip. And we had used a paper towel, we had kind of dealt with it, and it just needed to be fixed. So I started exploring, and I realized that it was the seal on the, I guess it would be the drain part that was in the sink. So the part that you, if you're looking into the top of the sink, the part that you see in the bottom that sits in the drain, that sits in the hole, the drain top, I guess, um, was leaking around where it seals to the sink. So I messed around with it a little bit. I knew that I had some clear silicone here that I would likely be able to undo the plumbing. They were all threaded fittings all underneath. I would be able to undo all the fittings underneath and pull it all out, and then take apart that half of the sink and reseal it. Just get some silicone in there and reseal it. I knew this wasn't going to be like a quick job. Like, nothing in this camper, like I said, working in a 5-gallon bucket, none of this is a quick job. So as I planned it, I tried to run through all the tools that I needed, make sure I had everything. It looked pretty straightforward. I had to dig into our supply tote to find my clear silicone. And so yesterday ended up being the day that it happened. One thing is, it's our only sink, really. I guess we have the bathroom sink, a little tiny bathroom sink, but this is really our only sink to work with the dog bowls, like do dishes, do get water, like all of it. So if the plumbing underneath it's disconnected for any length of time, we're kind of screwed. So I started taking it apart. The plumbing, the actual piping came off pretty easy, and got that out. And I went to start undoing the nut. So basically the drain goes in, and then it's threaded on the bottom, and there's a big old nut that screws up and it cinches it to the sink. And so I started to unscrew that. It was super tight, even though the drain was loose. So obviously all the sealant that was around it had deteriorated or come loose or whatever. And so I'm holding the drain and I'm spinning the nut, and basically I got it about a spin and a half, and it just locks solid. Um, and I didn't know why it locked up, because it wouldn't go forward or backwards. Like, I couldn't get it to tighten back up, and I couldn't get it to loosen. And I tried and tried. I went outside, I sat and thought for a little bit, and I came up with two possibilities. One was, when it was installed, somebody had put a wrench on it and like buggered up the threads. So when the nut came down the threads, it just locked in. Um, Rewild Life says, "I want to see you fit under the sink. Those damn campers are tight for space." I don't fit under. My from my elbows to my hands fit under. Like, so I can't really look under and see exactly what I'm doing. So basically, I grab underneath. It's kind of like when you're a teenager and you're getting familiar with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You just kind of like have an idea what you're reaching for, and you feel around, and usually you can find the right thing. So I have this nut, and it's stuck in place, and it won't go tighter or looser. And I'm thinking either the threads are buggered up because it's plastic, it's PVC, or the the slow leak had come down and run through and gotten stuff in the threads, like and it basically like worked like glue as it like cinched in there. Oh yeah, Pickle P says, I was trying to bust a nut for sure. I was trying to bust that nut free. And so I'm like, okay, here's my dilemma. I'm at least a half an hour one-way trip from getting a new drain. Like, at home, I was telling Corey, at home I would have just cut cut it off and ran to the store and grabbed another one. I would have ran to Ace. They would have had them. They'd have been a couple bucks. But here, it would have been a drive. And it was already 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so I didn't want to jam on it too hard to break it, because then we'd really be screwed. But I couldn't get it to tighten up either. So I couldn't like put it back and then leave it for another day. So I was trying to figure out, could I seal it and would the silicone hold it enough to keep it in place? So as I'm looking at it, I came back inside. I told Corey, here's my options. I just don't know if it's bad thread. She's like, well, why don't we try to clean it? And I'm like, okay. I kind of poo-pooed the idea, thinking that if it was locked in there, it was sealed and it wasn't going to get anything in it. Like, how are we going to clean the threads? And so yesterday, I told you guys we were big fans of natural cleaners. Corey is a big fan of baking soda and vinegar. And she said, okay, well, we had been using baking soda and vinegar to kind of clean up all the other stuff down there. And she says, well, let's just pour it down the drain. And because it's loose, it will seep down through there and hopefully get down in those threads. And it's all fizzy and will kind of break things up and loosen things up. I said, okay, whatever. I mean, it wasn't going to hurt anything by doing this. So we put a bowl under there, and she got to work, and she put the magic solution down in there, and we let it sit. And sure enough, I got under there and I put a little heave ho into it, and away it broke. It didn't break. I mean, it broke free and came off. It was perfect. And so wife was right. Number one, she said, let's just do this. And it worked. So that was fantastic. We got that off. And then I wanted to clean the threads up really good. I also wanted to clean up under where the plumbing was, because you couldn't really get in there to clean it very well, because the plumbing has such low clearance in there. So she had been cleaning with a tool, and this is the second thing I had on the notes this morning, was one of the best multi-tools that I've come across right now is electric toothbrush. Corey was using an old electric toothbrush. She had just gotten a new one, spin brush. She had been using it to clean like the edges of the sink and all the nasty places that you can't really get to clean really well. She'd been using a spin brush with baking soda and vinegar. So it'd get all fuzzy or all bubbly, and then she'd use it to just scrub really well. And I'm like, that's a really good idea. You know, I used the generic dollar toothbrushes a lot when I was a tech to clean stuff, to clean threads, to clean parts. They work really good. Guys, spin brush, whole different ball game. Wife was right. Number two, she absolutely nailed it on the best cleaning device there is. It's small, it's compact, it's powerful. It gets into fine, like little crevices. It's got spinning action, and then it's got the stationary bristles too, if you really need to scrub in there. I cleaned up the threads on this thing. I cleaned up the threads on the nut. I cleaned up underneath where it had kind of built up some gunky stuff from a slow leak. It is fantastic. It is fantastic. Rewilder Life says I need a much bigger one for tile, but they never last. Yeah, Corey told me that. She said, I was so impressed. I was telling her, I'm like, man, this is fantastic. This is probably one of the best cleaning tools I ever used. I wish I had a powered toothbrush when I was a tech, instead of using the regular non-powered cheapy toothbrush. And she said, oh yeah, man, I did get wrecked by those ants yesterday. Holy crap. Sorry, I was just feeling my arm. I'll talk about that in a second. I told her that this is fantastic. She says, yeah, when I found powered cleaning tools, it was a game changer. And so she's got the bigger one. You have the bigger one, right? Oh, that's right. We had it at the farm. That's how much I pay attention, guys. Eee. I build the shit. But yeah, wife was right twice yesterday, and man, it's just when you just decide that it's better to listen to her, life just gets so much easier. It does, like in so many ways. So listen to your wives; they know best. They do know best. But we got the sink put back together, and Corey goes to use it. She's like, "Did you test this? Did you look at it?" I said, "No." I said, I just, it is kind of what it is at the moment. If it's got to get taken back apart, it wasn't going to happen last night. I did look under there. There was a little drip of water, but in an odd space. So I'm going to have to look into it more today. And hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. We use some clear silicone around that, and put that on the bottom and cinched it down. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. Reweller Life says, I discovered they have cleaning bristles you can put on a power drill. Yeah, I mean, I've seen those. We used to use more, it was wire bristles a lot, wire wheels, more for cleaning rust off metal with that velocity. But yeah, I do know that they have the nylon bristles with a drill chuck on them. That man, if you really got to go to town on something, I suppose you could use a power drill. But toothbrush was working for me. So that was yesterday when we were fixing the plumbing, and hopefully that's fixed, because that leak was kind of annoying for the longest time. And once we discovered it, we started using the other side of our sink mainly because that side wasn't leaking, and it was a pain in the ass because it was backwards for everything. The setup of the sink in here is just kind of weird, wonky, and man, whoever designed campers, like seriously, whoever designed these things, I can't imagine. I can't imagine if we hadn't ripped everything out. Like if we hadn't retrofitted this thing, if we hadn't pulled the stock couches and tables and things like that, um, I can't imagine being in here. But the thing beyond it is the stuff that we haven't pulled out. I look at it and I'm like, whoever thought that this was a good idea? But we deal with it, and we move along, and we understand we understand the stuff that is important as we build something new. When we build something, or the next trailer we do, the next one we get and we're retrofitting, or if we pick up a small bus or something and we're retrofitting that, it will definitely come in handy. The stuff that we look at on a daily basis and go, why? The sink is one of them for sure. The sink and the counter space is just, it's unbelievably asinine how much space they waste with how much limited space there is. Reliable Life says glass shower doors and huge tile showers with build up. Yeah, I mean, I guess get your DeWalt cordless in there and go to town. Other than that, yesterday we had a really nice day out at Delinquent Scully. We Corey and I headed out there. Chris Dixon says recreation was never meant to be permanent. I think I would have been aggravated at a week, dude. I guess at the end of a week I would have been going back to work. But like seriously, I don't think I could have functioned in here for a short period of time. Maybe a weekend. Mike Homestead says sounds a lot like Fountainhead. Yeah. Mike, I sent you a message on TikTok or on Telegram about Albie if you get that at some point. Let me see here. What else? Oh, Delinquent's Gully. We headed out to Delinquent's Gully. Things are rolling in fast and furious as far as growth. And we wanted to make sure we completed two main trails that we'd been working on. I mentioned before that we got one trail completely from the bottom of the property to the top of the property. We had one about 3/4 of the way. Actually, it was probably more than 3/4 because yesterday we completed it. So we have two main trails that go from completely from the bottom to the top of the property. We have one trail that goes up and stops at a cabin we built for Tim that we are going to continue that path to the top of the property. So basically he's got 3 parcels next to each other. Each one is going to have a path from the front to the back, and then we're going to connect them at the top and then possibly shoot over between them at different places that make sense along the property, and then install more campsites along the way. But this is really nice because now there's a loop that you can take. It's not an up and down anymore, one way up, one way down, and it's nice and cleared out. We still have some more maintenance to do. It just got to hit it with a weed eater. There's some large deadfall that needs to be cleared with a chainsaw, but basically the rest of the clearing will take less than a day, I would think, with the saw, and then just trail maintenance at that point. So it's looking good. It's looking good. We did. I did run into some pests. I don't know if I'll be able to show that on the. I don't think it'll show up here. No, I can't get it on the screen there. You can kind of see it there. This is all ant bites. I don't know if they were fire ants or what the hell they were. They were definitely biting ants of some sort, but there was an old cedar tree that had fallen, and I was picking it up and kind of moving it out of the trail. It was small enough, and there was definitely some sort of ant nest under the tree and on the tree, because as I was picking it up, and it was a very heavy tree, and I was picking it up kind of like a deadlift and pushing it over, and before I realized it, my arm was kind of covered with ants, and I was like smacked, because I realized it when they started biting me, and I started smacking them. I got them off, and yeah, they nailed me for sure. There's probably a couple dozen bites there, so that's going to be fun to deal with because they are pretty itchy. They're pretty itchy, and they're raised enough that you kind of bump them on everything. So blood, sweat, and tears for your old Delinquent's Gully, that's for sure. That is for sure. But yeah, exciting to have those trails cut in before the massive growth of vegetation comes. We did go through a shitload more of briars yesterday and got that taken care of. So we're there. We now just need to get these campsites cleared up and set up, and a few other odds and ends, and we'll get rolling with getting some people out there and having them stay on the property. So that's exciting. Stopped at Jamie's, stopped at Off Grid Ping on the way out. Corey needed a little piece of wood actually cut. I didn't have the right saw. I didn't have the right equipment to do it properly, and I knew Jamie did, and we took that out there. He knocked that off. We got an update on the buns. He's got four happy, healthy buns there that he is excited to have. And then we also got to see Bruno. Corey loves just stopping and seeing the animals, I think. The chickens, the guineas, the cat, the dog, the rabbits. Like, it's Corey's happy place. So we stopped at Jamie's for a little bit, and then we headed home and took care of that plumbing project I talked about earlier. So Rachel's wondering, did they ban TikTok? All right, I've been trying to make sense of this shit. why would they ban TikTok? So it isn't about, well, it is about TikTok. It is on the face about TikTok. They basically, from what Mike says he's never took his wife to another guy's house for some wood. I had to take her to another guy's house because my wood was too big, Mike. TikTok, this whole TikTok ban. So I've been reading, and I don't have time to read the whole bill that the House passed. Guys, I don't. So I do rely on secondhand information, and you should always understand that anything I say on this show is stuff that a lot of it I've seen with my own eyes. A lot of it is secondhand knowledge. Like I get my information the same place everybody else does, wherever I can find it. So the whole TikTok, quote unquote, TikTok ban is more an assault on private business in my eyes. Mike's Home says, I believe only the House passed it. Yes, yesterday the House passed it, but it sounded to me that the Senate was all in. They were going to pass actually a more stringent version. Could be wrong. And then old Sniffy Joe, he'll do whatever they say. They'll put it in front of him and he'll sign it. But it appears that their logic or their reasoning behind, there's a reasoning behind it. It's basically to silence your enemies, from what I took from it. I don't know the specifics of what determines what an adversary is, but it appears that any company, and I don't know what categories, I haven't gotten a hard list of categories, but whether it's social media or public, whatever the companies are, if they're owned by what the president determines as an adversary, they have 180 days to diversify or sell. Otherwise, they can't have it still in existence. Let me see. It has something to do with the fact that the parent company is still Chinese. And they're freaking out about the Chinese. I don't think it's about the Chinese. I think it's about them passing something that gives them the ability to say, those people don't have our best interests in mind. And they have a company that has influence over people. We need them to sell the company or we're going to ban it. Is what it sounds like to me. I think TikTok is just in the crosshairs right now. I think that TikTok is in the crosshairs right now, and like Rachel says, that China is a hot button, but China owns it. Okay. I find it suspicious that the most evident, and I don't want to say evidence, the most information I find that is anti both sides of government, that is, I would like to say honest, open, I guess would be a better word. Like, it's not fact checked by any means. But the willingness of people to talk about the ideas is more prevalent on TikTok than any other of the mainstream social medias. Chris Dixon says it right here. When will they stop importing goods from China? That is what the first thing that popped into my head, Chris Dixon, was, if we're going to ban TikTok because China owns it, China owns it. A company from China owns it. When will we stop purchasing products from companies owned by Chinese? Or is it only the ones we don't like? Oh, wait. It's only the ones that don't like and might tell our secrets. Or, oh, they're bad because they just want to do Russian collusion. Guys, I'm guessing this they played out the Russian collusion. Pip says goods or people. Attaboy, Pip. It was Russian collusion in the last election, or was that 2 ago? I'm wondering if this one's going to be China. China is going to cause this election to spiral out of control. Mike's Homestead says our government should take it over. That way, the owners will have the best interests, our best interests in mind. Yeah. Rewilder Life says we talk about how bad others are, but they do horrible things to their people. It's a boogeyman for the elections. I mean, I'm not saying that China China is is like the glowing example of the city on the hill that we should all strive to be. But man, anybody heard of Jeffrey Epstein and all the government officials that he ran with? Man, I don't know. It's a big show. I don't know. Like, is this another non-enforceable law? Hunter says TikTok does have influence. It does. It does for sure. It does for sure. But so does fucking Facebook. I think you just have to look at where the money flows and where does the sitting power feel that the ebb and flow is going to come from? Was it Trump? Was it Trump that... Oh, Hunter says that Facebook doesn't have the influence that TikTok does. Facebook has the influence of the generation that actually matters, not the generation of kids. And I understand that it's not just kids on TikTok, but the sway that Facebook has with their total control over what they show. Hunter says the dumb youth is on TikTok, but the dumb youth doesn't have anything that they can provide. Wasn't it Trump that opened the flow with China? Didn't he make some sort of trade deal with them? Warm bodies for the front lines. Yeah, they're worried more about keeping control than fighting. What wasn't it Trump that started working with China and opening up trade lines and making trade deals or something like that? Wasn't it Biden that poshed that, poo-pooed it, and shut it all down? Isn't it Biden that's kind of in bed with Ukraine and Russia? Pip says thought that was Trump in North Korea. Maybe it was. Maybe Trump's got a thing for Asians. Maybe it was both. Pickle Piece says, but the dumb kids are being around. I mean, I get it. If it was about elections, is what I'm saying. If it was about elections, because it's coincidentally in March of an election year that this starts ramping up again. Because I'm pretty sure we've gone through this before. Didn't we have a TikTok ban freak out a while ago? I don't know. But anybody that's out there, and this is something that's on my side burner because the person that oh, Pip says no, the CIA has not been sending cash for aspirations in the Ukraine and Russia. And Pickle P says you're getting closer on the Trump has a thing for Asians. um yeah, I don't know, guys. It's TikTok. It's TikTok. It is what it is. Oh, yeah, that is on my side burner. The guy that I've been following closely, one of the main guys I've been following closely with my Amazon influencer program has started doing TikTok affiliate marketing, and he's doing really well. I have goals set for my Amazon stuff that I need to hit before I start doing anything else, and so I'm holding off on that, but it goes to show you have backups. Nicole Sauce asked me when I was on her show talking about the Amazon influencers is like, is this, are you counting on this? And I'm like, I'm counting on it after I have it. I'm not counting on it going forward. I'm not taking a loan saying that, oh, I'm making X amount of dollars every month on Amazon. I'm saving the money that gets deposited that I've already made on Amazon and using that for things. But yeah, it can go away in an instant. So if you've built an empire on TikTok and Joe Biden decides that he doesn't like China and he likes Russia and Russia doesn't have a social media app, then you can just be screwed in the butthole. Rewilder Life says, get your friends' numbers. Bloggers and YouTube folks got hit hard the last few years with cuts. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. Build those direct relationships with companies. I'll tell you here's the deal. Tim Cook and I, Toolman Tim and I have talked at length about different affiliate making money as a content creator, and even as not a content creator, just as someone that has relationships with companies. And we've always landed on the fact that if you can work directly with a company, you're going to come out ahead. Amazon is great for getting eyes in front of your products, but if you can spin up an audience to present a product that you represent directly from a company, it is much better. And the proof is in the pudding. About 8 times better in most cases, at least. They sell Blockstream Jades on Amazon. And when I look at my statistics and I look at what my earnings are from selling a Blockstream from the Blockstream website, as opposed to what my commissions are when I sell a Blockstream from an affiliate link on Amazon, it's 8 times different. It's a big difference. I don't know why you would want to buy a Blockstream on or a hardware wallet on Amazon. I think that's just rolling the dice. But Blockstream does have an Amazon store. It is legitimately from them, so it is what it is. But man, get it from the source. Get it from the source. Even if it's more expensive, use my discount code, The Lost Project, from my affiliate link that you can find at thelostproject.com under discount codes and partner companies. Yeah. So direct relationship with companies is vital for diversification and maximizing income. So TikTok, yeah, House passed it. I'm pretty sure Senate is on board, and old Sniffy Joe said he'd already sign it. But China also has a time period now to diversify their interests or divest their interests. It's divest their interests in the holding of the American version of TikTok, or they can sell it to someone. And really, how can they not just sell it to someone that is a shadow company? Like, is this all kabuki theater like everything else in government? Because who who can't sell a company to somebody else that doesn't have interest? Like, seriously, how hard is this going to be for them? They have a whole country to figure it out. Pip asked the other day, yesterday, if anybody was watching the Boeing stuff. I kind of am a little bit. I am. I think that when planes start falling apart in the sky, when hatches start blowing out, when landing gear starts breaking, when planes are like just dropping out of the sky, things like that. Mike's Homestead says you can sell TikTok to me. China. Yeah, so Boeing is kind of a mess. Boeing's kind of a mess. And then you have the suspicious case of John Barnett. You guys heard about John Barnett? Pickle P says, I party with a lot of the Boeing guys every rave. It's half the crew. Oh, great. Have we talked about John Barnett? Excuse me. If you don't know who John Barnett is, he's a guy. He's a guy that worked for Boeing for 30 years or so. In 2017, he retired for health reasons. Prior to 2017, he had been a very vocal voice in all the Boeing plants he worked for. Mike's Homestead says fake news. He worked in several factories in North Carolina, South Carolina. Mike, are you saying that John Barnett is fake news, that he was full of shit? Or are you saying that the fact that he had a self-inflicted gunshot wound is fake news? But anyway, old Mike Barnett had been complaining for years about safety standards not being followed. Parts in factories that were not quality controlled, that have gone missing. So I worked at a foundry that made car parts made parts for cars. They cast a lot of different parts for cars. And I understand how the safety critical things work. Basically, safety critical parts, especially in the automobile industry, and I have to imagine it's the same in the aerospace industry. You have parts that are classified safety critical that if they failed in a vehicle, that it was an imminent death situation. Frames and axles, things like that. Things that, like, if shit went sideways, you didn't want this to break. So they went through a more stringent QA process. They were x-rayed, like everyone was x-rayed for fissions and cracks and bubbles. The everything was scrutinized beyond. Every certain amount of samples, it was actually sawed in half and inspected to make sure everything was right. So the foundry I worked at was really good. Basically, when they had a part fail, it went into a big container and then it was scrapped. So it sounds like what John Burnett was saying, at some point, one of the things he was talking about was some of these safety critical parts were then being taken and fitted onto planes. He's like, we can't do this. They would be running short of parts. They wouldn't have parts. This was to speed up production. He also complained about safety standards being kind of poo-pooed, like quality standards by the people assembling the planes, things of that nature. Basically stuff you don't want going on when you're 40,000 feet in the air in the thing that they were building. So they kind of pushed him around. It sounded like they might have shuffled him around department to department just to shut him up, maybe placate him a little bit. Pip says workers pulled parts from scrap piles, were used on new planes to get it done on time. Yeah. It sounded like they probably placated him quite a bit. And then he retired in 2017 for health reasons. Probably got offered a buyout of some sort to shut him up. Recently, he started testifying. He's a whistleblower. Chris Dixon says, "Don't talk poorly about unions. It's bad for your health." He's actually gone and been testifying about the safety standards at Boeing since hatches are blowing out of planes while they're flying and landing gears are breaking. Like, he's probably sitting there going, "Man, this is kind of like what I told you was going to happen." So he started testifying. Now, I'm not close to the fact that John Barnett might have blew his brains out. I can see it. The man's been on the soapbox for a decade talking about safety standards, talking about this is what I've been saying is going to happen. He might be feeling responsible for the deaths of people because he didn't do enough. I could see him blowing his brains out. It's a lot to bear. I can also see Boeing after 3 days of testimony, and Pickle P said the third day of testimony was killer. I think it actually 4 days of testimony. Not really liking what's going down. And man, this guy needs to shut the fuck up. And if we get him to shut up, maybe it'll send a signal to all these other guys that are thinking about talking, and they'll shut up too. It's not like Money hasn't had a history of killing people they didn't like what they were saying. So he unalived himself. Whether he had help doing that or not, I was not there. I did not see it. It's all conjecture on my part. But did anybody look at where the bullet was? Did it come from the front or the back? Because it didn't what was his name from the Clinton staff that somehow shot himself in the back of the head while he was working out? Wasn't there another one that shot himself in the back of the head while he was jogging too? There's two of them, wasn't there? Can't remember. There's so many. Hillary's list. Do you think it's Hillary? Here's a question for you guys. So we all know the rap on the Clintons of their path of mowing people down in their history. Do you think it's old Hilly? Do you think it's Hillary that that's making that says do it, or do you think it's Billy? I think Billy Clinton, he probably is just sitting back, like, don't give a shit about nothing. And I think Hillary is the string puller in that relationship. I think Hillary takes care of business. I think Bill just probably smokes a cigar. Vince Foster was definitely one of them. Vince Foster, was he found in the park? Was he found in the park or was he found in the gym? Pip says Al Jazeera. Well, we can't take any brown people credible, Pip. So that really sours this note. Al Jazeera had an undercover reporter asking Boeing workers if they would fly in these planes. Oh yeah, that's right. Vince Foster. Pickle Pete says he's the one that dragged himself like 300 feet through the park after he shot himself in the head. And Pip says that dude was shot in the back of the head twice while bound and tied. Shot himself in the back of the head twice. Must have been a bump stock. Jesus. Oh man. Oh, fuck. All right. Well, nothing like ending on a high note of old Billy Clint and Hilly and their reign of terror and Boeing. Do you think Boeing consulted with the Clintons on how to get rid of them, or are they just good enough on that on their own? And Pip, is that did they release the Boeing workers answering if they would fly in the planes, and did they? I would guess they said no. I I would guess they would say no. All right. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. I gotta get out of here. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking it might with the TikTok ban. With the TikTok ban, we are going to have to get as many of these in as we can, but we're going to talk about. I saw it on TikTok. I got a few conspiracy theories and lines of thought that I stumbled down the rabbit hole on TikTok over the week. We will wrap them up tomorrow morning. Friday is always a good one. We're going to be talking. Let's see what is on my list. We'll be talking the Bushes. We will be talking about P. Diddy and Epstein, and yeah, some interesting stuff. And there are some that we're going to poo-poo and blow out of the water that people were like, oh, let's see, that Jim Carrey, excuse me, that John Cena is dead and Jim Carrey is now playing John Cena in real life. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Pip says yes, the video of all but one worker saying, hell no, I wouldn't fly. Mike Sosa says Boeing's part of the industrial military complex, probably don't need much help. Pip says one worker said he would fly in a Boeing plane, but he also said he had a death wish. Hunter says, what? Are you talking about John Cena and Jim Carrey? Yeah, that one tripped me out. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know where, like, you pulled that one from the very bottom of the pile. So we'll mention that. I'll talk about what their theory on that is and more, but definitely consider showing up tomorrow for I saw it on TikTok. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you listening this morning. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like, subscribe, and share. To return value for value, please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm. Please visit thelotsproject.com to find information or find all my links, discount codes, partner companies, and all sorts of stuff in the shop. And yeah, if you are interested in one of those LB extension invite codes, hit me at info@thelotsproject.com with LB extension or LB invite or LBALBY in the subject line somewhere. And I will distribute the 5 invite codes as they come out. Other than that, guys, it's Thursday. We're almost there. Happy Pie Day. Make sure you grab some pie, whether it be pizza or apple or cherry or pumpkin. Enjoy your pie today, and we will catch up with you on Friday.